Chapter 2. The 10th of July 2009, 7 a.m. Begunkodar, West Bengal. Chilly winds came along as fog filled the air of Bengal.
"Here we are, sir,"
said Ryan. Savitoj folded his blankets and kept them in his bag. They were already provided with one since they were traveling in a one-tier AC compartment, but the colds were not among Savitoj's liking. Savitoj yawned as he stretched his body to slowly awake it from the slumber. The train was many kilometers away from the station but was still moving at moderate speed. It further slowed down with every passing milestone. Ryan quickly opened the curtains when Savitoj proceeded to have a look outside. He wiped the window with his sweater cuffs to clear out the fog. Even though the picture was blurry from the inside, he could sense the large cover of the dense forest surrounding the tracks. The orange tint on the window made the view more dramatic than usual. There were dewdrops on every plant around. The weather was pretty cold and moist even though it had stopped raining the day before. The beautiful, locally dispersed light from the drops on the leaves made for a pleasant sight for anyone in the vicinity. But the rising sun was slowly evaporating the water off the leaves. It must be much cooler in this part, Savitoj assumed. He could sense it, given the fog that covered most of the area. Few people visible from the window had covered their bodies with heavy clothing.
"Yes, and that's soothing, isn't it, sir?"
Ryan asked. Savitoj replied with a smile as he wore his shoes. The red chain was pulled, and the train slowed down. Savitoj went for the door. Ryan was ready to depart, with his bags already kept near the exit, and go to an adjacent urinal. He'd woken up a long time ago and was much fresh and alert than his senior. Savitoj took out his wallet and kissed the picture of a kid in it. A woman beside the kid hardly made it in the photo as most of her posture was folded on the backside. Her partially visible face clearly bore similarities with the kid's. Savitoj kept his wallet in the back pocket and looked outside the door. Most of the area in front was densely covered with trees and long grass. There was hardly any sign of human habitat. The only people around were local fishermen fishing from a small lake across the forest. They were about 20 in strength, all covered in warm clothing on the top, but the bottom part only had light shots. Their faces clearly reflected their compulsion to work, and they arrived at the lake with zero interest and only with an intention of surviving another day. When the train stopped, off went Savitoj with his duffel bag. Ryan followed. Savitoj landed on slippery grass and continued on the path in front. In the vicinity, he saw a large figure, in muffler and gloves, waiting for them. He was slender, but the coat made him look large by a size. Even in the flat shoes, he stood taller than both Savitoj and Ryan. Savitoj turned around to see Ryan still struggling to pull down his heavy carry bag from the narrow door. The conductor who pulled the chain assisted Ryan in getting his luggage out of the small exit. When both the investigators had exited the locomotive, the TC casually saluted them and moved in again. The train blew a loud whistle, and off it went. The tall person approached Ryan for a shake while greeting. "Chiranjeet the. Welcome to Begunkodar, sir." In his left hand, he had a driving license as proof of his identity. His name and other details were printed in bolds on it. Neither Savitoj nor Ryan paid any attention to it since they were too tired from the journey. Besides, the chance of some stranger appearing in the woods to greet them out of nowhere was highly unlikely. Savitoj's partially grey beard and mustache gave him a rugged old look, while Ryan, younger to Savitoj, looked smarter in his clean-shaven look. The muscular physique gave him a digitized appearance and visibly held him in higher regard than his senior. Ryan sensed the pride in being called "sir." He giggled.
I am kind of an assistant, he is the chief investigator.
Ryan said, pointing towards Savitoj. Sorry, sir. Chiranjeet quickly apologized and directed his hand the other way. He'd never imagined that this long-faced guy could be a senior. The cold had already been rough enough. Please don't be rougher, begged Savitoj as a tired smile ran across his face. I apologize, sir. It's okay, Savitoj said as he stretched his hand to complete the shake. Chief Investigator, Savitoj Gill, and this is Ryan Matthew, he said, pointing towards Ryan. Chiranjeet already knew their names. Welcome, sir, welcome. I will assist you during your travels. Chiranjeet spoke 6 languages. Born in Begankodar village, he was recently transferred to Thakurpurka police station in Paschim Barishar, a place in the east. Along with optimum driving skills, he had years of experience on record. He knew the quickest ways to reach most of the places within the state. Although he had moderate knowledge of the village, he had driven many visitors across almost all important roads across the state. During his years of experience, he had assisted many interstate delegates during their travels. Chiranjeet helped them with their bags while Ryan gently brushed his hair, feeling extremely proud of being pictured as a chief. I failed to understand why the train stopped in the middle of nowhere, Savitoj inquired, looking back at the train, still visible at a distance. It's been 4 decades since the last train stopped at the station, Chiranjeet replied. Station kills people. And we have a strict order that until the Akal Bodhan is carried out, no train should stop within a kilometer's distance from the station. He paused. Ma Durga, protect us from the spirits living at the Stationana, chanted Chiranjeet with a hint of fear on his face as they all walked on the patch by the road. What do you mean by station kills people? Savitoj inquired. How many people have died here? Savitoj wondered. His last project was executed in Bihar and was focused on bringing down the human traffickers. There was no time to study every aspect of the case. Being the highest-ranked CBI officer of the year, he was immediately sent to the Bengal grounds. Though there was a constant itch in his brain that he was dealing with something far below his pay grade, he anticipated. Ryan had filled him in with whatever information he'd got from the files, but the available data didn't contribute anything significant to the inspection. At least half a dozen were reported dead. There may have been more. There were missing people too. The local police hardly dare to wander around this place in daylight. At night, it is completely out of option. You don't make it back alive if you visit the station after the sunset. Many decades ago, the station was shut down. Just days before the revision of the paperwork, everyone who once worked at the station either left their jobs or got killed. I was just a kid back then, but I remember each detail of this case. Hardly anyone dares to visit the station anymore. Not even in the daylight. It is dangerous.
Utter nonsense. People may have died because of accidents, may have got murdered, or must have committed suicide. It's not because of some spirit,
Ryan claimed. He did learn a few things about the station being dangerous for the living. The data that he browsed clearly stated living. As a member of Law Keepers, he was always trained not to trust anything that was not written in the law or was completely denied by it. Regardless of the instructions, his stand on this particular case was shaky. But Savitoj had held on to the instructions for years. When the Officer of the Year advises you to hold your ground, you blindly cement your legs. Whatever may be the reason for the previous deaths, this case is our only concern, Savitoj stated. Amit was an army officer. His death concerns the chief minister and affects the possibility of reopening the station. We need to wrap up the things quickly. They excited the Greens and hired the same cab that Chiranjeet had taken to reach the station. The roads were not well maintained from the construction point of view but were clean. The cabbie took their bags and kept them in the trunk. "Sorry, sir. The cars from the police station are all currently occupied, but we have been assured that one would be arranged by tomorrow," Chiranjeet said. They all got in the cab. Chiranjeet guided the driver to the hotel. Meanwhile, Ryan seemed happy, enjoying the cold weather. Savitoj took a sip of whiskey from a small tin bottle he kept in his coat, for the cold was unbearable to his lean body. As soon as the car started, Chiranjeet began his graphical narration of haunting stories about the station.